Meri Brown breaks down over Janelle's past with her brother, the emotional history that still haunts sister wives. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and buckle up, because today we are diving deep into one of the most emotional and complicated chapters in the entire sister wives saga. This is not just about jealousy, not just about sister-wife tension, not even just about Kody. This is about family, blood, betrayal, and wounds that clearly never fully healed. Because in a recent exclusive, Meri Brown opened up, and she got visibly emotional, while reflecting on the fact that Janelle Brown was once married to her own brother before joining the Brown family and marrying Kody. And when Meri said there were a lot of emotions tied to that history, she meant it. Let's unpack everything. The backstory that changed everything. Before we talk about the present, we need to go back, way back, to the early 1990s. Sister Wives has documented decades of plural marriage, heartbreak, jealousy, and family breakdowns. But one of the most surprising facts about the Brown family dynamic has always been this. Before Janelle Brown became Kody's second wife, she was married to Meri's brother. Yes,
you heard that right.
Janelle Brown was legally married to Meri's brother, Adam Barber, in the late 1980s. Their marriage didn't last long, and after their divorce, Janelle stayed close to Meri and her family. Then, in a twist no one could have predicted, Janelle spiritually married Kody Brown, which meant that Meri's former sister-in-law became her sister wife. Let that sink in. The emotional bombshell. In her recent reflection, Meri Brown didn't shy away from admitting that the situation stirred up complicated feelings, even decades later. She described it as bringing up a lot of emotions. And honestly, that's putting it lightly. Imagine, your brother marries a woman. They divorce. That same woman marries your husband. Then you're expected to share that husband in a plural marriage. That's not just awkward. That's layered. That's generational level emotional complexity. Meri didn't dive into every detail, but her tone said everything. There's history there. There's pain. There's unresolved feelings. And fans could see it. Was there resentment from the start? Let's be honest. If you've watched Sister Wives from season 1, you've probably sensed that Meri and Janelle's relationship always felt strained. Not explosive like Meri and Christine's early jealousy, not openly confrontational like later seasons, but quiet, tense, guarded. And now, looking back with this context, it makes so much sense. Janelle wasn't just another wife. She was someone who had already been part of Meri's family. There's a difference between, here's my new sister wife, and here's my former sister-in-law who used to be married to my brother. That history doesn't just disappear. The early days, a recipe for conflict. When Janelle joined the marriage, she and Kody reportedly planned to get married on Meri's birthday.
Yes.
On Meri's birthday. That detail alone tells you how emotionally charged this was from the beginning. Eventually, the date was changed, but the damage? The symbolism? It lingered. Imagine how Meri must have felt, already adjusting to plural marriage, already navigating sharing her husband, then learning the new wife was someone deeply tied to her own family. Another layer that the wedding almost happened on her birthday. Janelle was initially drawn to Kody, why a lot of emotions still connected to Meri's family. She has admitted in past interviews that she felt intellectually and spiritually aligned with Kody. She believed in plural marriage. But critics have often wondered, did that closeness to Meri's family make the transition easier for Janelle and harder for Meri? Because from Meri's perspective, this wasn't just a random woman entering her marriage. This was someone who already knew the family dynamics. Someone who had already sat at her family's dinner table. Someone who had been married to her brother. That blurring of lines is intense. The sister-wife dynamic was never simple. Over the years on Sister Wives, we've seen Meri struggle with infertility, Janelle have 6 children, Kody grow emotionally distant, the family move from Utah to Vegas to Arizona, the eventual breakdown of almost every marriage. But underneath all of it, that early history has always been there. Even if it wasn't talked about constantly, it shaped the dynamic. Meri was the legal wife for decades, until she divorced Kody so he could legally marry Robin for adoption purposes. But emotionally, Meri has often described feeling displaced long before that. And some fans believe Janelle's entrance was the first fracture. The emotional weight of family ties. When Meri recently reflected on Janelle's former marriage to her brother, she wasn't attacking Janelle. She wasn't angry. She sounded reflective, wistful,
Heavy.
that's what made it powerful. This isn't petty drama. This is about how plural marriage collides with family loyalty. It's one thing to believe in sharing your husband for faith. It's another thing when the person you're sharing him with has already shared your last name in another way. Meri has spent years being painted as difficult or jealous. But when you zoom out and look at the layers, you start to see how complicated her emotional landscape truly was. Where do Meri and Janelle